Hey everybody, good morning. This is Jennie Hendricks of Century 21 Prestige Realty here with your Monday morning market update. Hope everybody had a great weekend, safely social distancing, of course. So let's kind of get into what's happening this week. As far as stats go, 188 current active residential listings on the market with a median list price of $299,450. So we're really bumping up close to that $300,000 range, which is a little bit higher on the listing side. But I'll keep track of that and let you know where that is. We've kind of been bumping around just a little bit there. As far as the 12-month rolling average, there's been 929 residential properties sold with a median sales price of $232,000. So that's about right where we've been. Nothing's really changed in that regard. Okay, let's talk about last week, because last week in the real estate industry was kind of a wild ride, especially in the lending world. So in a span of about 10 days, we saw interest rates plummet to the lowest in history, and then they came up just a little bit, still under 4% for most types of loans, but it was really up and down and just a really crazy week. So who cares? Why does that matter? It caused several repercussions. One of them there was a flood of refis. People saw those interest rates that went so low and thought now's a great time to refinance my home or my property. And they were not wrong. It was a great time to refinance. But what happened was some of the loans that were refinanced were fairly new, and it takes a while to season those loans. So when you take out a loan, the lender is basically in the hole, and it takes months, sometimes it can take years to make that up. So in these new loans, people went out and refinanced them. Lenders ended up losing a little bit. Not a huge impact on the market, nothing to panic about. It's just, we kind of are rolling with it right now. But the effect of that is it made loans just a little bit more expensive in the short term. So rates are still very good. They're still holding steady. I'm going to say maybe in like the 3.5-ish range. Again, it really depends on what type of loan you're getting. Mid to high threes, I'm going to say. But what's happened is these lenders are now charging points for that, which has the effect of making the loan just a little bit more expensive. And the buyer, if you're in a purchase, you're going to have to come in with just a little bit more in cash to maintain that rate. And that, of course, tends to affect a buyer's purchasing power just a little bit. So a little bit of fluctuation happening in the lending world right now. Now, this is important to know also. Lending guidelines have changed. So let's just talk about an FHA loan, which is a really popular loan in this area. A lot of people use the FHA product or the USDA product, but let's specifically talk about the FHA. Lending guidelines have changed. You used to be able to get an FHA loan with a FICO score around 580. That was last week. We're not in last week anymore. So that the guideline has bumped up to where you need to have probably around a 640 FICO score, and your debt to income ratio has changed as well. So last week, your debt load relative to what your income was pretty close to 50%. Now that it's dropped back down to where your debt to income needs to be closer to 40%. And that's a lot driven by the uncertainty in the employment right now. Now understand that everything I'm reading and hearing in the real estate industry says that this is temporary. Okay, this is just a temporary reaction to the world that we're in right now. And I think when we're past this and we sort of stabilize and see where everything is really falling back into place, these guidelines are going to go back to where they've been, because they've been actually taking us through the last several years very, very effectively. So just know that real estate transactions are still happening. You can still get a loan. It's just that the guidelines have changed a little bit. So if you have questions, let me know and I can get you to one of our really great local lenders. But the industry is adapting. You know, people still need to buy and sell. That's the bottom line. So the industry is adapting, and we're here for you, and we can help you navigate through this strange and unusual time that we're in right now. Now, if you do find yourself in a situation where you are affected by the virus, affected by COVID-19, and you are potentially in a situation where you could be missing a mortgage payment, the most important thing you can do right now is to reach out to your lender. There are federal guidelines that were put in place with the CARES Act, CARES Act, that has to do with the coronavirus, that specifically address mortgage payments and available solutions through your lender if you are directly affected by that. So don't wait. The best thing you can do is, if it looks like there's going to be an issue, is to reach out to your lender right away. Now, the second thing is I've seen some chatter out there in social media and so forth about rent. You still have to pay your rent. There was some relief offered for a very, very narrow slice of the population, people directly affected by the COVID virus, either, laid off or ill or something like that. There is not a widespread forgiveness of rent. So if you owe rent, you need to pay it. If you cannot because of the virus, again, you need to reach out to your property manager, your landlord, and have that conversation, because there are protocols that have been put into place to address that. Now, one last thing before I go. If you are an employer who has been affected by this, a small business that has been affected by this, please reach out to our Small Business Development Center, your local lender, because there are programs that are specifically in place to help you with payroll and different things to kind of help your small business continue along until we're through this thing. So one of those is the Payroll Protection Program, the PPP, and that offers a small business loan to cover your payroll and your mortgage or your rent for your small business if your small business has been directly affected by the COVID virus. There's also some state help available as well. So if you haven't been exposed to those programs, let me know and I can get you in touch with the people who are sort of administrating those and who can help you through those processes, because there is help available. And hopefully we'll come out on the other side of this thing as whole as possible. But listen, hang in there, everybody. Have a good week. We're all in this together and we're going to make it. All right. I'm Jennie Hendricks at Century 21 Prestige Realty. This has been your Monday morning market update, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.